Have you ever stood in a checkout line, looked at the price, and felt your brain quietly go, wait, is this actually worth it? Not because you're broke, not because you're dramatic, but because something about the deal feels off. That feeling matters. It is your mind noticing that the relationship between price and value has changed. And once you understand that shift, modern spending starts to look very different. A lot of people blame themselves for money stress. They think, I just don't have discipline, or I'm bad at resisting things. But in many cases, the problem is not your willpower. The problem is that companies have gotten very good at raising prices, lowering quality, and hoping you still remember the old version of the product. The price goes up, the product gets weaker, and the marketing keeps telling you it is still a good deal. So today, we're going through 10 things that are becoming harder to justify with your hard-earned money. Not to make you feel guilty, not to make you regret every purchase, but to help you trust that quiet little warning signal you already feel because no, you are not imagining it. A lot of things really do give you less than they used to. Let's begin with something that used to feel like a cheat code for saving money. Thrifting. And to be clear, this does not mean thrift shopping is always bad. There are still good finds out there. But the old math has changed. For a long time, secondhand stores were one of the best places to stretch a small budget. You could walk in with $30 or $40 and maybe leave with jeans, a coat, a few shirts, and something that actually lasted. Older cotton, real leather, a wool sweater, a jacket from someone's closet that still had years of use left. That was the whole point. You traded time for value. But according to ThredUp Resale Report research, thrift store prices have gone up 47% since 2019, while donated item quality has fallen 31%. So now you can spend an hour searching through racks and still find a used fast fashion top priced almost like a new one. A secondhand sweatshirt for $22, a worn-out pair of sneakers for $38, a dress with pilling for $35. That creates a strange feeling in your brain. You came in expecting the budget option, but the shelf is telling you something else. That tension is real. Your mind is comparing today's price against yesterday's expectations, and the numbers no longer match. So the new rule is this. Thrifting can still work, but only if the deal is actually there. Your time also has value. If you spend 2 hours digging to save $4, that is not automatically a win. Sometimes a clearance rack at a regular store, a local discount outlet, or a simple sale on basics can beat the thrift store price. It sounds strange, but in today's economy, secondhand does not always mean cheaper. Now let's go all the way to the other side, luxury brands. Because if thrift stores used to mean low price and decent quality, luxury used to mean high price and excellent quality. That was the promise. You paid more because the material was better, the stitching was better, the hardware was better, and the item could last for years. But that promise has started to weaken. Psychologists talk about prestige pricing, where people connect a higher price with a better product. And for a long time, that shortcut made sense. If a designer handbag costs a lot, you assume the leather, hardware, and construction justified it. But today, the price can rise even while the product becomes less special. A bag that once cost around $2,000 in 2010 can now cost more than $10,000, even when some materials have moved from real gold details to gold-plated hardware. That is a massive price jump with less quality underneath, and your brain can feel that mismatch. A 2023 expose found that one Dior bag selling for $2,780 cost only $57 to make. That is a markup of about 4,800%. In earlier decades, luxury markups were much lower by comparison. Harvard Business School research has described this newer world as fast luxury, where luxury companies use production habits closer to fast fashion while keeping luxury-level prices. That is why a $2,500 purse that scratches quickly or a $900 belt that feels ordinary can make you pause. You're not being unreasonable for questioning it. You are noticing that the badge on the product may be doing more work than the product itself. This one is sneaky because it sounds like the affordable choice. Drugstore beauty used to be simple. You needed mascara, foundation, face wash, or moisturizer, and you did not want to pay department store prices. So you grabbed the $7 or $9 option and moved on. But now, the budget aisle does not always feel budget. A mascara can be close to $20. A foundation can sit around $18 or $19. A basic moisturizer can be priced like something from a beauty counter. And suddenly, the cheap option is only a few dollars below the premium one. Behavioral economists call this kind of thing tier compression. The lower price category slowly moves upward until it almost touches the higher price category, but your brain still files it under affordable. So you buy the drugstore version thinking you made the responsible choice. Then you realize the better formula was only $4 more, or the store brand was actually the same price once you compared ounces. Research from UCLA's Anderson School of Management found that shoppers can experience category confusion when budget brands move into mid-tier pricing. In plain English, your old mental map stops working. You used to know what cheap, mid-range, and expensive meant. Now the borders are blurry, so the strategy has to change. Do not assume the drugstore item is the deal. Compare the price to the prestige brand, compare the amount in the bottle, check the sale price. Sometimes the budget product is still the best buy, but sometimes a so-called splurge is only a few dollars more and lasts longer. You do not have to buy the expensive thing. You just have to stop letting the aisle label make the decision for you. Let's talk about fast food, because this one hits a lot of working people directly. Fast food used to serve three basic needs. It was quick, it was easy, and it was cheap enough when life got hectic. If you were tired after work, between shifts, driving kids to practice, or stuck on a lunch break, you could get something for a few dollars and keep moving. That was the bargain. But the bargain has changed. According to Bureau of Labor Statistics data, fast food prices have climbed 47% since 2019, while wages for many of the people who depend on low-cost meals have only gone up 12%. Now, a combo meal can be $18 or $20. A breakfast sandwich, hash browns, and coffee can push close to $12. A quick stop for a family can look like a real restaurant bill. And once the price rises that much, the old trade-off breaks. Before, you might think, okay, it's not the healthiest meal, but it is cheap and fast. Now it may not be cheap, it may not feel fast, and it still does not do much for your health. Researchers at the University of Michigan have talked about habitual purchasing behavior. That means your brain runs an old routine: hungry, busy, drive-through. That routine was created back when the price made more sense. But if your mind keeps following the old habit, your wallet pays for new prices. This is not about shaming anyone. If you stop for fast food because you were exhausted, that is real life. But once you update the math, the decision can shift. A rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, a bagged salad and a loaf of bread, frozen burritos at home, a simple rice bowl made from leftovers. None of those are perfect, but they may feed you for more meals at a lower cost. The point is not to become perfect. The point is to notice when an old, cheap meal has quietly become an expensive habit. Remember when streaming felt like freedom? One monthly payment, no cable box, no ads, a huge library. You could watch what you wanted without paying for 200 channels you never used. For a while, it really was a better deal. But then every company wanted its own app. Now one show's on Netflix, another's on Hulu, the movie you want's on Max, the kids show is on Disney+, sports are somewhere else, and the one documentary everyone is talking about is on a service you forgot existed. On top of that, passwords are restricted, ad-free tiers cost more, and basic plans often come with commercials. Add a few subscriptions together, and a household can easily spend more than $100 a month, which is basically the thing streaming was supposed to replace. The hidden cost is not just the monthly bill. It is also the mental work. Subscriptions create attention debt. You have to remember what you signed up for, remember the free trial date, notice the price increase email, figure out which service you actually use, cancel before another charge hits. That is tiring. So the new approach is simple. Rotate them. Pick one service for a month, watch the shows you actually care about, cancel it, then move to the next one. It's not as convenient as the old days, but if it saves $50, $75, or even $90 a month, that's real money. Over a year, that could cover a utility bill, a car insurance payment, or part of an emergency fund. The trendy cup, the limited edition tote, the TikTok kitchen gadget, the candle everyone suddenly needs, the life-changing organizer that looks exactly like 3 other things you already own. Viral products are built to press on one very human button, the fear of missing out. Yale School of Management research found that viral products can activate the same parts of the brain connected to social exclusion. That sounds intense, but it makes sense. Humans are wired to belong. When everyone seems to have the same item, your brain can start treating that product like a social signal. Not having it can feel like being left behind. Of course, a water bottle is not a survival need. A matching lunch bag is not a personality upgrade. A $95 storage container is not going to fix your entire week. But marketing knows how to make ordinary things feel urgent. Limited colors, small drops, wait lists, influencer videos, sold out again. All of that creates artificial pressure, and under pressure, people spend faster. Here is the simple truth. A $100 cup does not hydrate you better than a $15 one. A viral cleaning brush does not automatically make your home easier to manage. A trendy planner will not create more hours in your day. Wanting the thing does not make you weak, it makes you human. But seeing the mechanism gives you a little distance. And sometimes that distance is enough to close the app and keep your money. Protein bars, protein chips, protein cereal, protein cookies, protein coffee, protein ice cream. At this point, if a package says protein, the price often jumps. And companies know exactly why this works. When something sounds healthy, people become more willing to pay more for it. Research from the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that consumers may pay up to 300% more for products with health-related buzzwords, even when the actual nutrition difference is small. So you see a $5 protein bar at the checkout? It has 12 grams of protein, but it also has a lot of sugar, a small serving size, and ingredients that do not keep you full for long. Meanwhile, a couple of eggs, Greek yogurt, tuna, cottage cheese, beans, or peanut butter can give you protein for much less. The difference is packaging. 2 eggs do not come in a shiny wrapper. Greek yogurt does not promise clean fuel in bold letters. Beans do not look exciting in a gym bag. So, companies sell the feeling of health, not always the best value. And this matters because wellness spending can hide inside good intentions. You think you are investing in yourself, but sometimes you are just paying extra for a snack that leaves you hungry an hour later. That does not mean every protein product is bad. Some are convenient, some fit busy schedules. But convenience has a price. And if the healthy version costs 4 times more than regular food, it deserves a second look. Fast fashion used to have a clear trade-off. The quality was not amazing, but the price was low. A $12 dress, a $15 sweater, a $20 pair of pants. You knew it might not last forever, but it solved a short-term clothing need. Now the math is different. A polyester dress can be $79 or $89. A synthetic sweater can cost $45. A basic top can feel like a mid-range purchase even though the fabric still feels thin. Research from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation found that clothing quality has dropped 36% since 2000, while prices have risen 118%. So the price went up, but durability did not follow. Your older clothes might actually prove the point. A shirt from 2008 may still hang better than one you bought last month. A basic cardigan from years ago may survive washes that a new one cannot handle. Your brain still sees certain stores as affordable because they used to be. That old memory becomes an anchor, so when you see a $60 top there, you may not compare it carefully against better options. You just think, well, this store is supposed to be cheap, but that shortcut can cost you. And with ultra-fast fashion, the concern goes beyond quality. A 2023 investigation found some garments contain harmful chemicals that levels far above safe limits. So in some cases, you're not only getting a weaker product, you may also be taking on risk you never meant to buy. The better shift is not complicated. Buy fewer pieces, look for better fabric, check seams, think about cost per wear. Use secondhand only when the quality is actually there, because the cheapest shirt is not cheap if it looks bad after 3 washes. This is where the marketing gets very smooth. Some brands built their whole identity around being the smart upgrade. Not fast fashion, not full luxury, just better basics, cleaner design, more ethical messaging, higher quality without the designer price. That sounded reasonable, and for a while, it made sense to many shoppers. But according to a 2024 quality analysis by the Fashion Transparency Index, many of these brands now use factories similar to fast fashion brands while charging much more. So a $128 sweater may not be as different from a $32 store brand sweater as the website makes it feel. That is where the confusion comes in. The branding signals quality, the neutral colors signal quality, the sustainability language signals quality. The simple website signals quality, but the actual item may not deliver the value those signals imply, so you are left with a strange disappointment. You thought you were making a thoughtful purchase, you thought you were choosing better, then the sweater pills, the seams twist, the fabric stretches, and now you feel tricked even though you tried to be responsible. That feeling is valid. It is not just about the money, it is about trust. When a brand sells itself as the careful, ethical, high-quality alternative, the product has to live up to that story. If it does not, you are not wrong to walk away. Online shopping used to feel easy. You found an item, the price looked good, you added it to the cart, done. But now the price you see at first is often not the price you pay. The item is $42, then shipping is $18, then taxes appear, then handling, then import duties, then a return fee if it does not fit. By checkout, that simple $42 purchase can become $79 or $95 or even more. And your brain has to recalculate everything. It was willing to buy at the first price, but the final price feels like a different product. Baymart Institute research found that 70% of online shopping carts are abandoned, and unexpected fees are one of the biggest reasons. That moment has a name, checkout shock. And honestly, it may be doing some good. Because when the final number jumps too far, your brain slows down. It interrupts the impulse. It forces the question, do I really want this at the real price? That pause can protect your budget. Every abandoned cart is not a failure. Sometimes it is your future self getting a vote. If shipping costs almost as much as the item, maybe the item is not worth it. If returning it costs money, maybe waiting a day is smarter. If the total feels wrong, there's probably a reason. So what does all of this tell us? It tells us that price and value are no longer moving together the way many of us remember. Your brain is picking up on that. The quiet hesitation, the second guessing, the feeling that something costs too much for what it is. That is not always anxiety. Sometimes it is pattern recognition. You are not failing because spending decisions feel harder now. You are dealing with an economy where the old shortcuts do not work as well. Cheap does not always mean cheap. Luxury does not always mean quality. Healthy does not always mean worth it. Convenient does not always mean affordable. And once you start seeing those patterns, you become harder to manipulate. That awareness can save real money. Maybe not all at once, but $20 here, $75 there, one canceled subscription, one skipped trend, one checkout page closed before the extra fees hit. That adds up. So if you have bought some of these things before, that does not make you foolish. It means the marketing worked, and now you can see it more clearly. You are not broken for feeling confused by spending choices right now. You are adjusting to a market that has become genuinely harder to read, and that takes awareness, not shame. If this hit home, leave a comment with the item on this list that surprised you the most. And if you want to understand why money feels so emotionally exhausting lately, there are more videos coming that break down the psychology of spending, saving, and trying to make better choices without beating yourself up.